It's time for the main event. It's the Shoe Show.
¿Qué onda, vatos locos? Damas y caballeros, it's your boy Dave in the 702 coming at you for that Monday night boxing recap known as the Shoe Shine. Joining me all the way from the city of brotherly love, and it's late in Philadelphia. Say what's up to my co-host, Drew Evo. ¿Qué pasa, homie?
What's up, Dave?
I know, man. I was feeling like, damn, am I ever going to get the show ready tonight? Should we cancel it? Should we cancel it like Ryan Garcia is about to put the cancellation on his April 20th fight? I don't want to talk about this anymore, Drew, but it's the only story people were talking about in the sport of boxing. Of course, Ryan Garcia brings over that crossover appeal, and it looks like his life is in shambles, Drew. First of all, it all started to unravel at that press conference Thursday. We did a special show, The Shoe Shine, to talk about Ryan Garcia openly admitting he's high. He drinks. He gets fucking high on weed. He's like everybody else. You know, he's real. He's the real one. And then he gets into this huge fight with the day before, supposedly he's been murdered and kidnapped and broken into his house, and people have hijacked his phone and slit his throat. This fool gets into it with Jake Paul, who's just trying to celebrate it. As Drew fixes his camera, guys, I'm going to play this because he picked a fight with Jake Paul. He's also picking a fight, I guess, with Sean Strickland of the UFC. All right. Hopefully you guys caught the audio of that. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us. Sin City Syndicate is in the house. Nando Lamas, Chicano Prophet. He says, why do I hear Drew breathing and shit? That was probably me, Chicano. I'm the one hugging the microphone here. I hope the audio clip went well. Like I was saying, he's picking a fight with Jake Paul, who Jake Paul ended up being the headliner on DAZN, Drew. Shit can't get weirder in the sport of boxing. Amanda Serrano, instead of pulling out of the fight and letting the audience know and everybody who's come to see her decide she's going to let the opponent, Minky, what's her name? Or I forget her name right. She lets her get dressed and warmed up and then announces. Tell me that's not some buffoonery shit going on in the sport of boxing. First of all, did her opponent know, Drew? I mean, were they just keeping it a big secret and a big farce for us? Oh, by the way, Jake Paul knocks out a former Golden Gloves winner from the state of California. The guy he had abs like me at this point, and I'm in my fucking mid-40s. And that's who he knocks out in one round. And then they announced to everybody, oh, I burnt my eye. I had my hair. Nothing makes sense in the sport of boxing. Her eyes were burnt because of getting her hair braided or not. Like, nothing makes sense, Drew. Is anything making sense to you these days?
Nothing makes sense to me nowadays. Like, I ain't know what the fuck is a truth and what the fuck is a lie.
Exactly. And by the way, guys, tonight we got that phone line back up and running, 702-710-3627. Let your feelings be known about this Ryan Garcia nonsense bullshit going on. Listen, I just listened to Paulie Malignaggi on ProBox give his take with Tim Bradley and, of course, Chris Algeria, the former world champions on that panel, Drew. And he described Ryan Garcia as the epitome of beta culture. That's right. Paulie ain't feeling sorry for Ryan Garcia one bit, and neither is Sean Strickland from the UFC, who had choice words for him on social media too, saying, bro, you rich. There's people out there, children that are working mines. There's children that are fighting cancer and saying they just wish they could live one more day, and you're fucking crying over this. Like, and Paulie Malignaggi don't have any sympathy for him either. I've never had sympathy for Ryan Garcia since we started this show on YouTube. We've been podcasting for almost 5 years on this subject, on our boxing show. Never had sympathy for him, Drew, because this kid's been afforded every gift possible, and somehow he's managing to fumble the bag. He's worse than Hector Camacho, and you guys know how Hector Camacho's tragic career, or Arturo Gatti, these fighters that didn't make it into their 40s because of drug abuse, mental health issues. Why should I feel sorry for Ryan Garcia when I got family members struggling with mental health illness, and they were not afforded all these gifts by Jesus, by God? Because Ryan talks about how much Jesus and his newfound faith is a part of his life. Dude, it's all fucking a cry for help. The guy, in my opinion, I share the same opinion Paulie had. He cries for attention constantly. He's constantly playing the victim card, and he feeds off of the attention of being the victim. And he does it because he gets simps. Not only guys, if you're a simp for Ryan Garcia, you got fucking problems. Unless you're part of that beta generation. Like I said, I got family members struggling from mental health issues, and they don't have all the luxuries Ryan Garcia has been afforded. Money don't buy happiness. That's clear as night and day. Is this fight going to get canceled, Drew? You've already touched on it. Is this fight even going to happen? I literally counted there's less than 50 days if this fight comes to fruition.
I told you he's pulling out, Dave. He's pulling out.
This is fucked up for Devin Haney. Devin Haney is a real professional.
He's a fucking beta male. Like, seriously, man. I call this motherfucker a beta male because he is, man. Like, he has no fucking heart. He has no fucking balls. He has no fucking... Man, he has a mentality of a fucking child. Like, on some real fucking shit, man. I don't even know why we waste our time.
Look, I'm no psychologist. I'm not trained in any of this stuff, but I'll tell you right now from experience, Ryan Garcia is probably a sex addict, all right? And that's not unlike his mentor, Oscar De La Hoya, was probably a sex addict. Ryan Garcia is a sex addict. He can't... You heard Jake Paul. Don't you got enough babies, mamas to suck you off? Okay, he just divorced his wife in the last fight, just had a baby, and now he's going from girls that you could bring home to mom to girls that everybody gets to see naked, because now he's stooped so low. And no offense to women that work in the sex industry, but now he's going to resort to dealing with women that work in the sex industry. OnlyFans, amateur porn stars. Dude, this guy is spiraling out of control. Enough with the let me pick a good girl to bring home to my parents that will be a good mom. Nah, I'm just going to start dating porn stars now. I'm down to porn stars, drinking and smoking weed before my big fights. Yeah. I can't believe that. I don't think this fight's going to happen. I feel sorry for Devin Haney.
They already got a backup fighter, man, on the plan. I think they got a backup fighter on them.
By the way, let me just read to you guys something. Shout out to Arnold Barboza Jr., a true professional. Guys, I don't have this picture ready to go, but you guys probably saw this tweet from Arnold Barboza Jr. today. Obviously, he signed up to be the co-main of this event April 20th, and he had posted something, a tweet today that really resonated with me, and hopefully I got this damn tweet, man. What'd I do with that? Well, maybe I don't. Maybe I don't, but go check out Arnold Barboza's tweets. I definitely don't have it here. I've got the back and forth between Sean Strickland, obviously. going on. But shout out to Arnold Barboza Jr. because by all accounts, man, I think he's probably going to end up being the last minute replacement for Devin Haney. A guy, and honestly, he deserves it. Shout out to Lukey Boxing. He deserves it. Arnold Barboza Jr. has he's fought at least, he's been ranked in the top 5 for almost 2 years now. And he's fought everybody the sanctioning body has put in front of him. Even Bob was like, I don't know what to do with you because I can't get the big names to fight you. So I got to let you go. Or we should split part ways. And so shout out to Arnold Barboza Jr., who I think is going to end up getting this fight. Drew, we got a call already. Like I said, I opened up the phone lines. Let's take this call. 503, you're on the Shoe Shine.
What's happening, fellas? This is Chicano Prophet calling in.
What's good, Chicano Prophet, man? We haven't heard from you in a minute. Appreciate your phone call. Obviously, you know, I got my panties in a bunch over this Ryan Garcia scenario, man. But what say you?
Well, you know what? It is concerning, man, and I've been following it. Okay, now, you know, I dropped some news, and, you know, sometimes we have a little group there where we talk, and Drew knows I'm concerned about what Ryan Garcia has going on. Okay, the ex-wife, right? He said, hey, this is not a troll job. Be concerned. I feel like he's being oppressed. Please pray for him. Like, the word oppressed concerns me. Then today on Twitter, he's like, hey, guys, I just want to let you know, I don't got my phone on me. They took my credit cards. They tried to arrest me. To me, that sounds like they might have tried to 5150. I'm like, that's what you do, right?
That's exactly what I was thinking, too. Chicano, I was thinking somebody close to him tried to do a psychiatric 72-hour hold on him. That's what he meant by they tried it. But who? His baby mama?
Nah, I think it'd have to be his parents, right? I mean, and they're trying to be like coy about it and hide it. They don't want it to be public, but I think that the family is concerned. There's a lot of things I don't like. I would be very surprised if this fight did happen. I think he needs help.
Yeah, it's clearly the fight is nearly just 45 plus days away. And obviously he's in no position to perform at the highest level, which he's absolutely going to have to be on his even better performance than what he did against Gervonta Tank Davis. But let's talk about what the Saudis have done for Usyk versus Tyson Fury, which is imposed. Listen, they know the history of these guys, and I'm talking specifically about Tyson Fury. They've imposed Drew, a $10 million penalty for the person that doesn't show up. Why would anybody in their right mind, with Ryan Garcia's track history now of pulling out of fights, using the same issue, you know, mental health, why would anybody agree to fight him without this penalty clause at this point?
I'll be honest. I think he gets dropped from Golden Boy if he pulls out. I think they sue him for breach of contract. They drop him, sue him for breach of contract because he's telling it has been in breach of contract, and they finally put their foot down. I don't think anybody would take a chance on him. Like, PBC's in enough problems as there is, so they're not going to take a chance on him to, you know, not and to sign him off the fight that he doesn't take. Then he does this shit again. Bob won't do it. Bob too small of a businessman. I know Eddie Hearn won't do it, because he has a good relationship with Golden Boy now. And I don't think he can deal with that. He wouldn't deal with a fight like that. It's just like this. Ryan Garcia is on his way out. And I think that if it's not a boxing ring that does it, it's his own self-destruction that would do it. And unfortunately, it's probably going to be his own self-destruction, because I don't think he makes it to April 20th. I think within the next week or two, we're going to get the news that he pulled him, that he's in no condition to fight. And then you're going to be seeing the reports of Oscar parting ways with him and suing him for breach of contract.
Shout out to Sin City Syndicate and Ryan. Nice to have you back in the chat. Ryan says, what are we thinking about Jake Paul versus Ryan Garcia? I did play that video to start the show off. And I'm wondering where things fell apart on that myself. Sin City Syndicate says, I've been following Ryan for years and told y'all for years he's a degenerate who is a simp for Vegas, gambling personalities. Ryan is a C-level boxing talent, and he knows that there's the problem. And yes, there was a lot of people speculating when supposedly it was circulating, was it Saturday or Sunday morning, that Ryan Garcia had been potentially hijacked or had his house, a home invasion, and where he's dead. Does he owe money to gamblers? It's out there. It's public info. Chicano, let me ask you a question, Chicano. As I burp drinking my Estrella Jalisco, shout out to Canelo Alvarez and whatever he's deciding upon. I want to ask you, Chicano, let's go back a couple years when Canelo made these statements about Ryan Garcia and he was essentially ousted from the Eddie Reynoso camp. Does any of that start to resonate with you today?
Well, I'll tell you, he's always struck me as a punk. Some people have been calling him cringe Rye, and he seems to me like a guy who likes to follow, but also doesn't have much sense of loyalty, but is also trying to do his own thing. Is famous and successful enough to carry this along. You're asking like, well, hey, why can't we impose something on him? I agree with what you guys are saying, but he didn't deserve a Haney fight in the first place. That's my problem. He got the fight because he's high profile, and so we might see a crash and burn. I'm very concerned about Ryan Garcia, but man, I've never liked him personally, and I've never been like, oh, we'll give him a shot. I do think he has some kind of talent, but he's just going to be somebody who gets sparked out by somebody at the elite level.
So I find myself struggling with that too. On one hand, I want to have sympathy for him, and on the other hand, I say absolutely don't give him the sympathy. Don't fall for that. He's basically baiting his public to have these feelings, to feel sorry for him, to make him the victim. I'm very torn, Chicano. I'm very, very torn. There's been stories in boxing. We all know them, the likes of like Salvador Sanchez, crashing his vehicle at the pinnacle of his youth and his career. We had Sacramento fighters, dangerously driving their motorcycles after fighting Floyd Mayweather and Corrales. I mean, there's the list of tragic stories in the sport of boxing go on. And I don't want Ryan Garcia to be one of those people that fighters that doesn't make it to the age of 40 because of his demons. I absolutely don't want to hear that. This weekend, I was watching a documentary on Ryan Dunn from Jackass and, his alcohol problems and how that's what I don't want to hear about Ryan Garcia. I don't. But I also don't feel that he belongs in the sport of boxing. I'm starting to have these feelings that maybe he just stopped playing with us. Like, if you're not fit to fight, don't sign up for these fights. Just stop playing with us. Stop playing the public. Go Hollywood. Just go that full route already. Do other things. You've got a massive audience built in, Drew.
But here's the issue. It doesn't help him that you go on Twitter, bash your promoter, and it doesn't help you at all going on Twitter bashing your promoter and everything. And the wrong thing about it is you think his dad would have a fucking sense and everything. He's a yes man. His dad is a yes man. He's he puts money in my pocket. What can I say? But you're not being a dad, unfortunately. That's what's fucked up about it. And here's the thing. You got all this, you got people behind you that can make you a huge star in boxing. Give you the opportunities to be a champion in multiple weight classes, have a legacy, legendary career. But when you grow up in an era that you care about social media more than your boxing ability, then the issue is you all you care about is your image. And it makes it like when he says, I knew I was going to lose to Tank when I said to myself, I'm going to lose this fight to Tank the night I was out of the fight. But here's the thing. What makes you think that anything's going to change with Devin Haney. You might get beat worse than you did with Tank. Devin Haney, in my opinion, is more skilled than Tank. Devin Haney has more of an opportunity to make you look horrible than Tank did. So you got yourself a fight. You don't deserve that fight. Dang, you didn't even deserve the Wally fight because it was the easiest way to a title. And like, hey, Wally, you listen to Al Heyman. You took less money, so that's your fucking fault. But mine figures your title, it's more worth it. You side to. Here's the issue. He makes the moves at the wrong time, and has special console at the wrong time, and follows at the wrong time. If that makes sense. Like with Floyd Mayweather. Why are you fighting Devin Haney? Here's the thing. Floyd only cares about Floyd's part of business, which is PBC. Of course he's going to tell you not to fight him. You want to know why? Because it makes Golden Boy, DAZN, Matchroom money. Of course he's going to do that. To advertise in the business. That's what Floyd is known for doing, and he's always been known for doing since he went on his own. He didn't care about, like, when he left on his own after the Oscar fight, he went into the stage of high reward, less risk, part of his career. And he didn't care if he pissed people off. He didn't care if he stole money from the people. As long as he made your purse and he made money off you. And it's a shame, you know. Wine does not have a backbone whatsoever. And it's really a shame. He just doesn't have a backbone whatsoever. He listens to the wrong people and everything. Instead of listening to your promoter, who's a Hall of Fame boxer, you have two Hall of Fame boxers that are behind you, that promote you and everything. And it seems like you choose not to listen to them.
Shall we wrap it up on the Ryan Garcia soap opera telenovela that is Ryan Garcia, guys? It's just 50 days away for what could be a historic matchup. Could be a mismatch entirely, if it even happens for Ryan Garcia to make it there. I know Devin Haney in that Los Angeles press conference says, he don't even have faith I'll see. He said, you're going to quit before the fight even happens. That's what he thinks is going to happen. It's a soap opera. It's a telenovela, the life of Ryan Garcia, and it's all playing out in front of all of us. We live in a social media era. Everything. He's an open book, and I'm going to speculate that in the next week or so, we're going to find out that Ryan Garcia is going to check into some type of rehab facility from the advice of his family, counsel, management, to check himself into rehab. And there goes that title fight for Haney. And we'll probably see Arnold Barboza Jr. as a last-minute replacement. Now, guys, there was some really good boxing this weekend. I know you guys saw it because we're all diehard boxing junkies. And we saw an amazing fight of the year type contender for the WBA vacant featherweight title. Top Rank put on 2 featherweight fights. Luis Alberto Lopez, the road dog, the guy that won the IBF featherweight title over 4 fights. He's now made 4 defenses. He's knocked out Conlon. He goes to the UK. He stops people, all the top brass overseas. He's beat them. And he had a defense this weekend against Japanese fighter Abe. And Drew, from round 1, Alberto Lopez came out in beast mode all over again. The only guy in our circle of people that we know, and I brought him up, was Ruben Villa from Salinas, California, that I went to his gym last year. Ruben Villa has a win over El Venado Lopez early on Showbox. Early on in their professional careers, those two tangoed, and Ruben Villa outboxed him. He's doing everything he can. Ruben Villa fights next month on Top Rank. He's now got a contract with Top Rank. He is the elephant in the room in the featherweight division. He's the only guy who's beat him. Andy Vences. Essentially, his career went on a downward spiral after losing a close loss. At 130 pounds, Drew, it's important to mention this. Luis Alberto Lopez beat the brakes off of Gabe Flores at 130 pounds. Gabe Flores was one of the most, they had the highest hopes for him at Top Rank to be a world champion. Gabe Flores out of Stockton. Shout out to him. He got beat up bad. His dad maybe left him in there way too long against Luis Alberto Lopez at 130. And after that, it's when he moved down to 126 and just has gone on this incredible reign of terror. IBF world champion. He busted up Abe's eye early on, and there was no way this guy was going to make it to the end of the round. Drew, it looks like his 4th stoppage as IBF featherweight champion, and now we got a whole new champion in that division. I'm talking about Raymond Ford. Drew, tell me what you thought about his performance against the Uzbekistan fighter Kolmatov, because Kolmatov had this fight in the bag, guys. 106 to 103 on 2 of the judges' scorecards going into the 12th round. And I have to tell you, Drew, my wife and I are watching that fight, and the instruction from the corner of Raymond Ford, when they did the side-by-side, they both had an opportunity. You heard Diaz, out of Riverside, Joel and his brother, Antonio, give their ring advice. But it was Raymond Ford's ring advice from his corner that resonated with me, Drew. I can't believe he pulled it off. I mean, I know the kid has heart and has a lot of talent, but that was a spectacular come-from-behind KO stoppage. Was it the right call? First of all, let me ask you, was that the right call, Drew? He stumbled into that corner and got hit with a 1-2 so hard and clean. He didn't react. Was that an appropriate stoppage?
If he didn't, here's the thing. He stumbled into the corner and everything. Yeah, the first thing you ask your fighter, are you all right? Can you go? And the second thing is, can you go on? Are you sure? You make sure the fighter's okay. If your fighter's not responding to you, or he looks very iffy, then you consider calling it. Like, he's not responding to me. Like, if I ask him, hey, you all right? You all right? Can you go on? He's not responding in like 5 seconds. You call it. So do you debate if it's a bad stoppage or not? It all depends on 2 things. You ask him, and if he's not responding, it was best for the fighter. In your case, your fighter's not. Here's the thing: your fighter is going to tell you on the spot, "I'm okay." And if he doesn't tell you I'm okay, then you stop it. It's rare occasions that a fighter tells you, I can't do this. I can't go on. Because fighters are too prideful and everything. They'll attempt to go out there and say, I'll go out on my shield. Fuck it. But if you're going to corner and you ask him, he doesn't answer you in 5 seconds, call the fight off, because he's clearly not ready. He's clearly not in it no more. He's out of it. And he's only going to go back out there just to get put out of his misery. and you could have saved him. Like the Andrew Maloney fight. When he took that beating in the 11th round from Junto Nakatani,
Mm-hmm.
and then you look at him in the corner, it's like, yo, his trainer really thought about calling it. And he's like this. And he's just at the last second, and I wish he should have just caught it. I'm gonna let you go out, finish this round, and try to survive. You need a knockout. You're not gonna win without a knockout, but I don't want you to take any too bad of a risk to get knocked out. And what happened? He went there, he got caught, and he got knocked out cold. It was my last year's knockout of the year. So I don't know. It's if the fighter's not responding to you in the corner, then I have no problem with the trainer stopping it.
And the irony is that Kolmatov is the house fighter for Top Rank. It's Raymond Ford that's signed by, I believe, Eddie Hearn. Matchroom. And they brought him over there, and they had to agree to have El Venado Lopez as the co-main event, which to me was strange, but they had to agree to that in order to get Raymond Ford over there for that, to have that cross-promotion. El Pachuco says it was an early stoppage. Nando says, I thought Raymond Ford was winning the fight. And actually, one of the judges did have it 105. Ackerman had it 105, 104 at the time of the stoppage. If it was an early stoppage and they would have given him a standing 8 count, or he had taken a knee, had he been smart enough to take a knee, he would have won the fight. On those two judges' scorecards, it would have been 106, 104, or even 106, 105, if I'm adding correctly. He would have been world champion, even taking that knee.
I had Ford winning.
You had Ford winning the fight up until the 12th round?
Slightly.
Okay.
I had it up to front. I had it slightly winning.
Man, it was a hard fight to call. It was a very close fight.
I had a very close fight. I had Ford up by a point or two.
But
I looked at it.
Sorry, Drew. Unlike that Teofimo Lopez fight we just saw, when I said that fight was close, that fight was hot garbage. This was a fucking great fight. This is why we watch boxing, because for two guys to go the way they did for that world title, and you had that dramatic speeches in the corners in the championship rounds, and to pull it out like that, man, congratulations to Raymond Ford. And for Kolmatov, I would love to see these guys run it back. I'd like to see Kolmatov against any of the world champions at featherweight division.
I look at certain situations when it comes to Top Rank with what the fighters and everything, man. I look at it. I think one person they really have to work better with, and I think promote better. And because I don't think the dude can promote himself good enough. Nobody's buying into him. It's Teofimo. I don't think him and his dad promoting him is doing enough, because of these couple of performances. He'll have a bad performance against Xander Martin and people think that he lost the fight. And I thought he lost it. Maestro thought he lost to Xander Martin. And then he gets this great performance against the top 140-pound fighter, literal former undisputed champion, Josh Taylor, one-sided. And then it goes to a fight that a lot of people thought he lost, Jermaine Ortiz. He looked horrible. And his dad and him, they don't do well enough. And then they make a bullshit sometimes. I only got offered 1.5 to fight Ryan Garcia. Dude, that's this. And then when your promoter and them call you, I say, that's inaccurate. It just makes you look incredible. And people ain't going to believe what you say. And that's another case that you let them self-destruct themselves. You let them do this to themselves, self-destruct themselves and everything. They are not going to be okay without the proper promotion. And that's how Top Rank comes in, and they should just let Top Rank do it and just shut up and stop trying to overhype themselves. Because if you look at it, a lot of people don't really believe what the Lopez camp says, because a lot of the shit they say is bullshit, unfortunately. And that's like with past things that they do. Now, like there are fights on the table for them, but unfortunately, people are going to look back at these last two out of 3 fights that he had issues in, and look and say he's very beatable. And the white guy in there, all they had to really do was be willing to, like, fuck it, I'm just gonna come at him one round, make him look bad in 1 round, and do my do my game plan the rest of the way, and it'd be convincing. The Jermaine Ortiz fight was more convincing that Jermaine Ortiz won that fight, because he landed more and he threw more, and the strategy worked. It was a great game plan, and it showed that Teofimo couldn't cut the ring off. So, but when it comes like top rank cases, I believe that they are better suited for the smaller weight classes now. And like, because they have the champions in these divisions. I really think, like, if you look at it, Top Rank is somewhat in a good place for the future.
Oh, most definitely.
But when it comes to the higher weight classes, like 154, 160, like we have a 160. Nico Ali Walsh, he already lost. He has it already. Tell you the truth, he's not going to be nowhere near a champion. He's just not skilled enough to be champion. And like, I understand how they're trying to move him up, how they're trying to get him in better like fights and everything. But Top Rank's going to have to look at it. You've done enough. Nobody's going to really care about that he's Ali's son if he doesn't start fighting better guys that you can see that
we get it from, we went from featherweight to Nico Ali Walsh, dude. Hey, shout out to,
it's just something that you gotta look through, like with Top Rank and everything. But like, Top Rank has something in 154 is Xander Zayas and everything.
That might be the only guy they got at 154. Guys, I'm gonna read off the featherweight rankings right now. Obviously, I just put up, shout out to El Pachuco who brought up Espinoza. Rafael Espinoza in one of the most dramatic fights of recent memory, upsetting Robeisy Ramirez, the golden medalist from Cuba, the new from Guadalajara WBO featherweight champion. Drew, I'm happy to see Raymond, to have an American fighter, an African-American fighter at that too, as a featherweight champion now, because it brings a new dynamic to the featherweight division. Ultimately, it felt like Mexicans reigned this division. We now have Rafael Espinoza, the new WBO champ, who took that title away from the Cuban. We have Elvinato Lopez, who successfully defended his title, the IBF title, 4 times now against all the heavy hitters. And you have Ray Vargas coming back. Ray Vargas. But by the way, guys, tell me that this fight Saturday, Raymond Ford's victory, does not remind you of O'Shaquie Foster's recent. He won round of the year, round 11 in Mexico and Cancun, to rally back and win that fight in the 12th round. This Raymond Ford fight smelled like that. It's going to be one of the fight of the year contenders already. But Raymond Ford's going to take that belt back to DAZN, back with Eddie Hearn. Who knows if we'll get any more cross promotions? Any of these guys, I'd like to see them unify. I would love to see unifications between somebody like Rafael Espinoza, 6'1", against Alvarado Lopez. I mean, Alvarado Lopez might be the best talent there, but to fight a guy who's 6'1", that's crazy.
Yeah, you gotta look at it like this, Dave. More cross promotion fights now are more likely now because promoters can agree on who gets the bulk of the promotion rights. As long as they say, oh, it's association with Matchroom and everything, or association with Golden Boy, association with Top Rank, they have no problem with it because they get paid and everything. So, and I think there should be a position with more big fights to happen, but doubt it. But
right. Hey, by the way, Ray Vargas fights this Friday against Nick Ball. I haven't seen tape on Nick Ball yet. He's ranked number 1 by the WBC. Ranked number 2 is our boy Ruben Villa from Salinas, California. He's ranked at number 2. He's closer at an opportunity of fighting Ray Vargas than anybody else. But with Ray Vargas being a PBC fighter, essentially, how likely is that to be made? At WBO division, Ruben Villa is ranked number 7. And I don't even see him ranked by the IBF he is. He's ranked number 10. The guy that beat Luis Lopez is ranked number 10 by the IBF. That tells you they don't want him to fight. That tells you right there all you need to know. And let's not forget against fantastic fighters like Mauricio Lara, still in the hunt. Stephen Fulton, ranked by the WBA at 126, Drew. He was ranked right behind Raymond Ford. You could potentially see Stephen Fulton with a win or two away from a title opportunity at featherweight. I myself wouldn't mind seeing that. Yeah, a very stacked division, very talented. And Luis Alberto Lopez, when he was finished with that performance, says, I wouldn't mind going back up to 130. I really wouldn't mind a potential opportunity to fight Navarrete on Top Rank. That sounds like fireworks.
We look at it like this is a lot of fights, and I think like the fights should have no power being made. And if you look at it, it's in the small weight classes, and everything like it just shouldn't. It's not having problems making these small fights now, but like, oh, we got like I don't know, like we gotta see how this opens up and everything. We gotta see how PBC does the next couple months to see what the landscape of the smaller weight classes and their roster does. I know some of them left, but are more of them going to jump ship, or is PBC willing to let them go and fight on other platforms and just get a percentage of their purses because, yeah, you're still being promoted. But that's what takes me to they are actually, if this is true, most likely is true, they're actually doing a promotion with Golden Boy in May when they do Canelo versus Munguia. And that is the fight.
I hope to hear some news. You know what, Drew? That's what I'm waiting for. I hope to hear some official news, and we could do another show on Thursday night before the big, again, guys, the big fight of the weekend is this Friday, midday. Mid-fucking-day. Excuse my language. I saw Nando saying, I was like, Nando's going to have to take the day off. By the way, guys, I still have the phone line open. If you want to chime in, we're going to get into this Friday's spectacular showdown in Saudi Arabia. For a few minutes, the phone lines will still be open. If not, we're going to wrap up the show and probably do another show Thursday if we can squeeze one in. Let's talk about this big fight, Drew. Let's talk about this big card.
I'll be honest, man. I gotta say something real quick. Rick Glazer is wrong. And when he went on that fucking tour saying I was right, guys, I was right. No, you weren't. You were wrong.
He just got.
And
lucky.
then people are trying to say, "Oh, he left PBC." No, he didn't. He never left him. Rick Glazer was wrong again.
He never left PBC, huh?
He never left PBC. They're trying to say he left PBC so he can make himself what right and everything because he knew he was wrong on it. I'm like, tell you the truth. Come on, like really, when are people gonna fucking learn not to believe a guy that has fucking that's bitter over his past, because it's no secret he has a problem with Al Heyman. That's why he's always anti-PBC and everything. Like, seriously, man. Like, he burned bridges with mostly everybody he's worked with. Why the fuck are we gonna fucking believe a guy over that? He has nothing else better to do than the fucking try report bullshit, and he's making Mike Copperfield look fucking good.
He's making Mike look good.
Like, come on, seriously. And then you got other fucking content creators have him on their show, and like, you know, like guys, seriously. He was wrong, and then you want to try to prove him right and everything. Oh, I got receipts and everything. Guys, I don't know what the fuck you're trying to do.
They got glazed.
Get some better fucking material.
They got glazed. Anthony Joshua, Drew, 27-3. Let's get to this. How did Ngannou, the former UFC heavyweight champ, end up fighting the top brass of the heavyweight division? He's 0-1, and in the second pro fight, he gets a shot at the former world champion in Anthony Joshua, Drew. This fight cannot be underestimated because Ngannou arguably beat Tyson Fury in some people's eyes. He knocked the guy down. The Tyson Fury, the linear heavyweight champ, looked exposed. I'm sorry, he looked exposed against a UFC former heavyweight champion with very limited boxing experience, professional boxing experience. He finds himself in a fight on Friday on pay-per-view. And ring walk time is estimated at 12 o'clock if you're on the West Coast, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock if you're on the East Coast. What is Anthony Joshua going to do if he gets hurt like Tyson Fury did, walking into a shot or something? Or is Anthony Joshua just... Is he back in top condition? Is he back to his old glory days?
I look at it like this. I think this was a fight that he tried to have Eddie set up, or the Saudis set up. Figured that, hey, if I beat this guy, it'll put me in a position to fight the winner of Fury versus Usyk, undisputed and everything. And what can I say? It's a good move and everything. Good. Just strategic move and everything, but you also got to realize too that the other guy that's in the running is Zhang and everything. I think your top four. I think your top three heavyweights or top four heavyweights is right now is Fury, Usyk, Zhang, Joshua, and everything. And if you look at it, he's competing with Zhang to fight the winner. Zhang's gonna fight Joseph Parker most likely, and I expect him to knock out Joseph Parker and potentially earn himself to become the mandatory in the WBO for the championship. And I really look at it as if anybody's going to win out of this situation, it's going to be Zhang. Because the IBF is going to try to mandate their champion, the champion to fight Philip Hogan next. But I think the WO is also going to do it. And AJ's out of it unless AJ's got to look at it like this. I'm not going to get an immediate title shot. If I win this fight, I'm going to have to go through Phil Pogacar versus Zhang to get that title shot. And because I that's the only way I'm going to get a title shot, one of these two. If I beat one of them two. He beats Pogacar, he doesn't beat Zhang.
Zhang earned this shot. And
he may beat Phil Pogacar.
I honestly thought, listen, after Parker's impressive performance in that last Saudi Arabian card, I thought Parker deserved that nod against Anthony Joshua. But he finds himself on the co-main. He is the former world champion himself, a former world champion. It's a hell of a fight. This co-main is a hell of a fight with a lot on the line. Essentially, a crack at somebody holding one of the titles, whether it's Tyson Fury or Usyk, whoever's going to win that unification.
Well, look at it like this: the undisputed champion may vacate the IBF and say, "Fuck it, I'm not fighting. I'm not going to defend my belt against Horvath." And AJ may be fighting for an IBF title against Horvath.
I could see Tyson Fury. If Tyson Fury prevails as the ultimate heavyweight undisputed champ, I could see him dropping titles at will. I don't think they're important to him, and I think he's finds himself in the company of Canelo Alvarez, being the shot caller that he is, and he fights who he wants to fight.
If you look at it like this, he has a rematch clause. I think there's a rematch clause.
All right, it's guaranteed. Whoever loses has a rematch clause.
Yeah, I think there's a rematch clause in it, and I think they're gonna have to hold the belts for that next fight. And
well, I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear there's a rematch clause.
But I look at a lot of situations and everything. Depending on how that fight ends, will determine if we get a rematch or not. But to get off that subject for a minute, with people like we're talking about in the chat and everything. Here's the main issue. He wanted to fight Jermall Charlo and realized he wasn't getting $35 million. Nobody's going to pay him $35 million, and nobody wants to see and was going to pay to see that fight. Now, Mejia, they'll pay $35 million. That's a lot of shit that you can do with that fight. You know, that's going to sell. Canelo fights a Mexican. And everything. And then, but the September fight, if he was promised Jermall Charlo, then it's it's really a travesty. There's no reason, nobody's going to buy a Jermall Charlo fight. Jermall don't care. He's sitting on the beach drinking. He's not all there. He looked like shit moving up against Jose Benavidez Jr. He wasn't even a legit super middleweight. He looked like shit against him. Nobody gives a fuck about that, man.
You know, Nando points out something. PBC had already put Jermall in writing, though, on this 2-3 fight deal. And I'm hearing rumors that, okay, the Mejia fight's almost certainty for May across promotion, but that he has to have Jermall Charlo in September, which would be the worst Mexican Independence Day fight I've ever seen proposed.
I look at it like this, and I'm going to say this, and I think people need to finally say it. Canelo Alvarez has ducked David Benavidez, and it's an official duck. He never wanted to fight David Benavidez. And Rick Glazer's over report, they never wanted to fight each other. That's bullshit. How can you go and say both of them didn't want to fight each other? Now, the one thing Sampson put up there, and they quickly deleted because he knows that everybody knows that was going to be incorrect. But the $5 million is questionable also. But I look at it like this. At the WBC convention, he was going to be named. They were going to mandate that fight. And he said, I'm not going to wait for him no more. He moved up. He's going to fight Grozdik at a shot to fight Beterbiev and versus Beethoven. And I'll be honest, go ahead, say, Nanda, I'm gonna leave it to you like this. Sampson is the manager. Sampson's job is to get a fighter that he's managing the most money possible for a fight. Now, you can't go with what saying that about Benavidez and everything, because if you look at it, Samson priced themselves out of a Demetrius Andre fight a couple of years ago, saying they wanted 7 to 10. Samson said, "Oh, I think $7 to $10 million is what we should get." I priced them out because Samson said it, and then Samson saying bullshit. But I look at it like this: David Benavidez wanted to fight Canelo Alvarez. Basically, he wanted to build his legacy. And what you do? Beat the cash cow. Beat the best fighter in this generation. And he fucked up a couple of times, testing positive for coke, being overweight, and everything. I guess that's maturity. It has mature on that. So he puts himself back in position to challenge Canelo and everything. And when Canelo said, "Hey, why don't some of you guys fight each other?" Tell you the truth, we're gonna put it to a truth and everything. Who actually took that? Who took that and did it? David Benavidez. He fought Caleb Plant. Yeah, he fought him after Canelo knocked him out, and he wasn't able to stop him. But he fought someone that was in on the mix. Demetrius Andre, very avoided fighter. Don't want to fight him. 35, 36. When someone turns to fight him, they rate him out. David Benavidez had him come up the second fight, middleweight. David Benavidez took that fight, stopped him, and everything. You took another guy out of the Canelo free stakes, I still think David Benavidez does not want David Morrell. I think he's ducking David Morrell. But how is it half-truths when the cash cow says he doesn't want to fight David Benavidez? When the man say he doesn't want to fight David Benavidez, and then he goes on camera after beating John White or Jamil Charlo and says, "I don't care who I fight and everything." Saying, "I don't care who I fight," and then does not want to fight David Benavidez.
I have no clue what's going to happen, Drew. I can't wait.
I'm sorry. It just makes me sick.
Drew's sick. He's sick.
People want great fights and then make excuses why cash cow shouldn't be in these types of fights.
Man, I didn't get a chance to load my I always do stuff like this and have it preloaded on my show. Shout out to my boy Humanitas Video Productions. He said he's in LA. I saw he was live streaming earlier. Go check him out when you're done with the shoe shine. Go check out and support my boy J-Dog Video Productions. All right, Mike Tyson's got a lot to say about. We're going to end the show on this note, and then maybe we'll do a Thursday show, Drew. But I want to read what Mike Tyson had to say. He said, "What is wrong with Canelo? Is he afraid of losing? Does he want to give the fans the fight they want to see? Don't you want to give the fans they want to see? Do you not respect the legacy of great Mexican champions who faced the best regardless of the money?" Tyson asked. Quote, "This is a shame for boxing and for Mexico. If I were him, I would accept the fight with Benavidez and show the world that he is the best. But it seems he doesn't have the courage to do it. It's a shame because he has a lot of talent, but he lacks heart." Man, you just cannot argue with the words that Tyson Fury is saying. He's making it very clear how he feels about the whole situation. He dubbed David Benavidez the Mexican monster. That came from Mike Tyson himself. Very strong words.
There's only one thing you can say about this, Dave. Canelo has entered the high-risk, low-reward phase of his career. He has entered the Floyd Mayweather part of his career. And the thing about it is, man, like, I had Canelo beating Benavidez, but the longer he waited, the less the chance I had to give him because because of the fights he'd been in and the battles he's been in and everything. You fought him in May of September. I had you beating Benavidez.
That's true. Nando says you're too all over the place to argue with. Sorry, Drew. And Nando didn't call on the show today. Guys, I think we're going to do it. Drew, are you down and do a Thursday show before the big Friday show?
I am going to do a Thursday show.
All right.
But the issue is, why we say some folks are never going to be too happy with this. That is not that's why is that a reply? Some people are never going to be happy with this. I'll tell you why people are not going to be happy. Because when you are the cash cow, you're supposed to be like a leader. You're supposed to lead by example and take the big fights. And take the fights that the people want to see. We're not trying to enter another Floyd Mayweather saga and everything. You're doing what Zach. He's trying to start doing what Floyd Mayweather did. And the thing about it is, a lot of people let Floyd get away with it. A lot of people are bitching about it. So why are we going to that same route again? Now, it's like this, man. I look at it like this. We're going to have one thing looking like this. We as boxing fans cannot really get there and not let them get to that point anymore. And like, unfortunately, if we let him get to that point, we're in for another unfortunate end on boxing. Like, Floyd left the sport on life support and everything. What happens if Canelo does the same shit? Can boxing come back from another Floyd thing again?
That's a heavy question to ask, Drew. And we'll have to pick up on that conversation as we find out who Canelo is going to fight, because that fight is just, it's weeks away. Honestly, there's like approaching less than 8 weeks for his opponent to prepare. Shout out to Modern King Boxing. I appreciate you for hopping in the room. I follow your channel. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Modern King Boxing. Also a great content creator here on YouTube. Drew, let's do Thursday night. We got some people in here. Shout out to SP for coming in here at the last minute. She wants to ask a quick question. Asking a question here. Do you think that the Canelo is just choosing not to fight Benavidez because he has talked so much crap? It's not about Canelo losing or winning. It's about giving him a chance at the money. And that's a damn good question, because sometimes Canelo, he wants to choose who he's giving that lottery ticket to. And it is a lottery ticket. It's life-changing money. He's got to like you. He's got to have respect for you to give you that big payday. Maybe we are missing out on that aspect of the conversation.
Nah, I think it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, the money ain't got nothing to do with it. Well, let's pick up on that conversation Thursday, Drew.
Yeah.
Just because it's 9 o'clock, we got to wrap up the shoe shine. I appreciate everybody that called. Nando, I forgot. I'm sorry, I wasn't checking the phone lines. Thanks for trying to call in. This Thursday, let's do the parlay before the big Saudi Arabia pay-per-view special. I'm Dave in the 702. Drew Evo, drop us a comment if you like the content. You know what I'm saying? Let us know how we could do better. And Thursday night, we'll get back at you guys 7:30 p.m. And we'll pick our parlays. It looks like we got Sin City Syndicate saying he's going to give us the gambling advice, that he's the big dog as far as making money in here. We'll see about that. Call in, give us your parlay. Drew, final words?
Don't have any.
All right, guys. We'll see you Thursday. Peace out, everybody. Thanks for joining the Shoe Shine. We'll see you then.